Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Mountain Vista High School Gym. My name is Jack Benahan, joined alongside me by my wonderful color commentator, Thomas Fry. Anyways, we're bringing you the very first event for Wish Week, the wrestling match. We got Legend, Fairview, and your Mountain Vista Golden Eagles facing off in this tournament. So, Thomas, what's going on tonight?
So let me tell you something about what's been going on this whole season, actually. So Aiden Cartwright is going to be the star of the show tonight. He's 38-2 on the season in the 152-pound weight bracket. And some other wrestlers to keep an eye on. Colin Mooney, he's 27-10 on the season in the 145-pound weight class. We're expecting a good performance from Chris Smith, who's 33-7 at 160 pounds. And Brent Langer, who's 32-6 at 170 pounds. There's another match to keep an eye on, which is going to be very important tonight. Ryan Lee is facing off against his rival, who he lost to last week in the Continental meet. His name is Levi Smith. He's 16-9, and Ryan Lee himself is 17-9 on the season. And that loss last week left Ryan in 4th place of that meet. So they're going to be meeting up again tonight, and that's going to be kind of like the main event happening here tonight.
Well, thank you for that analysis, Thomas. Well, this is the very first event of Wish Week, as we said, and we are hoping that Mountain Vista can start this week off strong and go 2-0. We will be bringing you live matchups in a few moments. Jack Benahan, Thomas Fry, back in a few moments.
Vista Wrestling fans,
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Jack Minahan, Thomas Fry. The first matchup will be 160 pounds. It will be Mountain Vista versus Fairview. Or sorry, Legend first.
Golden Eagles at 160 pounds and ranked 12th in the state, Chris Smith.
Chris Smith coming up to play now.
At 170 pounds for the Legend Titans, Arden Van. And for your Golden Eagles at 170 pounds, he's ranked 4th in the state of Colorado, Brent Langer. At 182 pounds for the Legend Titans, Carson Friesick. And for your Golden Eagles at 182 pounds, let's give it up for Conrad Draper. At 195 pounds for the Legend Titans, Aiden Griffin. And for your Golden Eagles at 195 pounds, Tyler Boydston. At 220 pounds for the Legend Titans, Levi Smith. And for your Golden Eagles at 220 pounds, Ryan Lee. At 285 pounds for the Legend Titans, Cruz Garcia. And for your Golden Eagles at 285 pounds, Caden Piper. At 106 pounds for the Legend Titans, Braden Staley. And the Golden Eagles are open. At 113 pounds for the Legend Titans, Jovan Atencio. And the Golden Eagles are open. At 120 pounds for the Legend Titans, Josh Kratzer. And for your Golden Eagles at 120 pounds, ranked 9th in the state of Colorado, Blake Andrews. At 126 pounds for the Legend Titans, Chandler Hickman. And for your Golden Eagles at 126 pounds, Brennan Hall. At 132 pounds for the Legend Titans, Wallace. And for your Golden Eagles at 132 pounds, ranked 12th in the state of Colorado, Connor Price. At 138 pounds for the Legend Titans, Omri Heat. And for your Golden Eagles at 138 pounds, here he comes, Joe Chaplin. At 145 pounds for the Legend Titans, Josh Cordova. And for your Golden Eagles at 145 pounds, ranked 12th in the state of Colorado, Colin Mooney. At 152 pounds for the Legend Titans, Juan Diaz. And for your Golden Eagles at 152 pounds, it's the man in the spotlight, ranked second in the state of Colorado, Aiden Cartwright. The head coach for the Legend Titans is Nick Ryder. And your Golden Eagle head coach is Adam the Steamroller Fiddler.
Circle around in the tiny circle. Smith gets the heavy advantage on top, and he wrestles the other guy to the ground in the blue spandex. Smith trying to get a hold on top, is not able to. Back on the inside of the mat, now pushing to the outside. They got a good stranglehold. Now they separate for a little bit.
What he's trying to do right now is he's trying to keep him against the edge so that way he can't circle back in. Because for the wrestler who's towards the edge of the mat, it's their responsibility to get towards the inside of the circle.
Now Smith has a stranglehold on his neck. He's trying to bring him to the ground.
Takes a
Legend
shot.
guy is able to get out of it. Now he brings Smith back into a chokehold. Smith has his leg, however. Smith gets him on top, brings him to the ground. Now they're fighting on the ground. Smith's head is locked between his legs. Smith tries reaching him up and brings him outside of the mat.
Unfortunately, it's not going to count for points because he didn't have 2 feet in when he got the takedown. So they're just going to reset to the middle, but it's still an impressive showing by Chris here.
They reset to the middle, take a little bit. Both hands are around each other's heads. Looks like they're headbutting like two bulls right now. Circling around. Both of them are in headlocks, dead even right now. They're going to hold for a moment.
So when you're neutral like this, really what you're looking for is who's going to take the first shot, right? And
Now
the
they're
mentality here is if he takes a shot, you're going to score, and if you take a shot, you're going to score.
Now they're broken out of it, back in a headlock. Here's some movement. Chris goes down near the leg, takes it, gets the advantage on top, takes him down.
It's 2 points here for Chris. The reason he was able to get that takedown, he went in with speed, he got a good setup, and he got around, pivoted the leg. Very well executed by Chris.
Smith is trying to bring him outside the mat. Legend player's on the very edge right now.
It's like Chris is going to get back points. Oh, the period cuts out just short.
So the period ends and Mountain Vista leads 2-0 against Legend.
Legend 0.
So the first period of wrestling down, now we go to the second period, another 2 minutes.
So Legend won the coin flip. They deferred to Chris, and Chris shows bottom. And that's going to be a caution on Legend. If you move before the ref blows the whistle, it's kind of like a false start in football. You get a caution.
So now they will reset. Legend is on top. Smith is able to get up, wrestles out of it. He gets an extra point for that, so now it's 3-0 Vista. Both of them are back at a stranglehold. Neutral, like you said, Thomas, a few moments ago.
And once again, it's just a standoff. Who's going to make the first move? They're going in and out of ties, trying to find an advantage, get a setup.
Nobody has found the advantage yet. They
Chris
both
is going to reset back to the middle.
So Smith resets. Has the Legend player right now in a chokehold. They break away from it again. Both attacking each other. Wait for the first move. Now they're in a headlock.
What Chris is doing right now is he's taking fake shots to try to get him off his balance.
Smith brings him to the ground. Legend player's on top. Smith breaks out of it. Now he's on top. That's an extra 2 points. Now Smith tries to bring him down. Legend player gets the advantage. Now he's on top.
Still hasn't gotten the 2 points yet. He has to get control of his own leg before he can officially score. So Chris still has a fighting chance to get back behind him right here.
Smith trying to get out of it. Legend player trying to get the 2 points.
And he is going to get the 2 here.
And he gets the 2 points, and now it's 5-2.
30 seconds left in the period.
Legend player is on top right now. Has Chris by the neck in a chokehold. Now Chris flips around. Legend player is back on top. Holding him by his neck. Smith is on the ground. Looks like in a standstill currently. Smith trying to get himself up, and that will be the end of the second period.
So because Legend deferred after the coin flip in the first period, it's now going to be the Legend wrestler's choice what position he wants to take, and it looks like he chose bottom. Yeah, he did choose bottom. And this is the point in a wrestling match where you can see how heavy Chris is breathing. Both wrestlers are very tired, and what it really comes down to is who has the most mental grit and stamina and who can win the match.
Well, hopefully Chris has the more mental stamina. Chris currently on top because the Legend player deferred to be on the bottom. He's got him right there by the waist. Chris is on top, brings him over, has him in a chokehold. Chris's leg is around him right now. Chris gets flung off, still has a steady grip, however. Both of them coming up. Smith brings him down again.
Gets the leg lock here.
Both of them are in a lock right now. Legend player getting up now. He flings himself on top of Chris. Chris able to maintain being on top.
And he takes his leg over the top and hooks around the ankle. That's called a stubby ride. It's useful for breaking people down.
And Chris flings him to the ground. Chris back on top.
Now moves like that mat return right there are really just a showing of physical strength and as well as technique. .47 seconds left in the period. Or until the end of the match, that is.
Smith back on top again. Smith's hands are around the Legend player's head. Legend player lifting up. Brings down Smith again. Smith back on top, 25 seconds to go. Both players are on top. Looks like Smith has him in a headlock, and he's going to fling him down to the ground.
Now, if Legend gets an escape and a takedown here, that would tie at 5-5, and then we would see overtime. So all Chris needs to do is make sure that in these last 17 seconds of the match that his opponent isn't able to get up and get a takedown.
Smith wrestles the Legend player to the ground. He's on top, has him in a chokehold. Final 10 seconds. Smith lifting up. He's hanging on for dear life right now. And that will be the end of the 160 weight class. And Mountain Vista wins 5-2, so they will be up 3-0.
Yeah, so if you get a pin, it counts as 6 points towards the total team score, and winning by points counts as 3.
And for your Golden Eagles at 170 pounds, let's hear it for Brent Langer.
Next up, we got Brent Langer. Fun fact about Brent, he doesn't actually go to Vista. He takes ACC classes. He's currently getting college credit for it, and he was homeschooled for a while.
Langer in a neutral standstill. Both of them are in headlocks. Pushing around, fighting around. Langer gets pushed away a little bit. Comes right back in, fighting strong as ever. Legend player slips, is able to recover. Langer and then punching each other's heads. Legend player's on top. Langer pushing him outside to the edge of the mat.
Right now what he's trying to do is stay in bounds and potentially look for a takedown here.
And Langer pushes the Legend player off the mat.
Now, one thing you see in common between Langer and Chris Smith is that they both really like to use the fake shot to try and get their opponent off balance, as you saw two right there just while I was talking.
Langer goes down towards the legs, trying to flip the Legend player up and over his head. Langer brings them both down to the ground. He's on top. Vista leads 2-0.
Now, what we saw right there was a throw, and as you can tell, Brent actually does have a lot of freestyle and Greco-Roman experience in wrestling.
Langer is on top, holding him down. He's got a chokehold.
As you can see, he's using his knee to push his opponent's head further away and try to get his other shoulder blade closer to the mat. It's really close to a pin here. The crowd is not very happy that he hasn't called a pin yet.
Referee waiting until the very end to call the pin. Linger's still on top. This has been going on for about a minute. Referees haven't called anything. I don't know. From here, it looks like he's got a pretty stable hold. Lost it for a little bit. Back on with the stable hold.
Yeah, I don't know about you. I can't tell exactly from this angle, but from where I'm at, it definitely seems like he should have called a pin, especially considering that he was down for about
It should have been called a pin about 35 seconds ago. Referee is right there, though, so he does have the definitive angle here.
And I don't know if you can even hear me and Jack over the crowd anymore. They're a bit angry.
I know we can't hear each other. Well, referees do not call a pin. Personally, I think it should have been called for one. Thomas, I know you feel the same, but another 3 points will get added. Vista leads 5-0 heading into the second period.
Yeah, it's definitely not a loss. That you got the takedown and you got the 3 back points from having him on his back for about a minute. So he's still going into the second period up 5-0. And a fun statistic about wrestling, if you can score 6 points, then you'll win 2/3 of your matches just based off of that alone.
Well, Thomas here is the wrestling expert, so he would know these facts. We'll see if that pays off tonight. Linger is on the bottom right now. Legend player is on the top. Linger flips him almost out of the ring. Legend player holding defensively, trying to get himself back inside. And Linger and them both fall out.
It's definitely important to know where you're at when you're on the edge of the mat because situational awareness can definitely score you a lot of points.
Linger goes down, picks him up by the leg, flips him over. Legend player holding. He's on top. Has him right there by the waist. Linger going up. He's now on top.
So the reason he was able to get this takedown, as you saw, right when the ref blew the whistle, he was ready and he took a shot, and the Legend wrestler simply just wasn't expecting him to come out so fast, and that's why he was able to get that takedown there.
So 7-0, Vista leads. 1 minute to go. Linger grabs him by the foot, brings it back over, lets go of the foot. He's on top, holding the Legend player down, has him by the neck. Shifting around a little bit.
Looks like he's going to go for a butcher here.
Has him back by the neck. Coach is on the Vista side telling him to hold. Legend player gets free for a little bit.
Now what he did right there is he knew he couldn't get the pin from that position, so he just reset to score his 3 back points, and now he can look for more of them.
So gets the 3 points. Vista leads 10-0, 20 seconds to go in the second period.
I think as you can tell, one of Brent's strengths really is his strength, his physical strength. He's able to manhandle his opponents when he's on top.
Clearly it's physical strength. I mean, this Legend player, he's been fighting this entire time, trying to keep himself back in the ring, just trying to even get off the mat. Student section is hyped. That is the end of the period. So second period ends. Mountain Vista leads 13-0, heading into the third and final period of this 170 weight class.
So there is good news. In wrestling, there is a mercy rule. It's called a tech fall. It happens when the other person is ahead by 15 points. So all Brent needs here is a takedown, and he'll win by mercy rule. Unfortunately, that counts as 5 points towards the team score instead of 6, but it's still a very valuable asset.
In the second period, Vista 13, Titans 0.
So the Legend player will take the bottom. Linder's on top again. Legend is on the bottom, trying to fight and get the upper hold right now. Linder has him. Legend player trying to get himself up and over. Linder brings him back down. Not letting him get even a couple inches off the mat. Linder fighting around at the edge of the mat right now. Legend player trying to get out of it. Now he's going to be grabbed by the neck. Linder moves upwards, more towards his head. Grabs him by the foot, flings him up and over. Linder's still on top. Has him by the neck, 1 minute to go.
You can definitely see how the crossface is kind of Brent's definitive style on top right here. He's been going for moves using the crossface basically this whole match while he was on top.
Legend player trying to get up and back over. Now he's got the upper hand for the first time in this match.
What Brent needs to do from this position, not let him back up to the mat, but he's gonna let him get the takedown, or sorry, the escape, which is better than letting him get the takedown. Now he's gonna go in for a shot of his own.
So Legend finally gets a point, still down 13-1 with 25 seconds to go in the third period. Legend is on top. Now Linder moves up and they reset to a neutral position. Pushing around, throwing some of those fake punches. Outside to the right. At the very edge of the mat. Linder's down on the bottom. Legend player on top of him. And that will be the end of the third period. Vista is going to win again, so they've won twice in a row. And they lead 7-0.
Very well done by Brent. He's strong, he's fast, and most people he goes up against really just can't compete with his combination of speed and strength.
Carson Friesick. And for your Golden Eagles at 182 pounds, let's give it up for Conrad Draper.
So Conrad Draper will be on the mat for Mountain Vista for the 182 weight class at a neutral position. Legend goes down near Conrad's legs. Conrad holding his position strong, not being thrown out of the mat. And Conrad gets the upper advantage. Throws Legend to the ground. Legend is able to recover.
You're going to go back to neutral here.
Both of them have a headlock back at neutral. Conrad goes to push him out of the mat. And he's able to do that.
One thing you can definitely say about Conrad is that he's obsessed with the gym, as you can tell by those big muscles.
Very big muscles indeed. Back into neutral position. Legend players tries to go for his legs, is not able to.
Conrad's staying solid in his defense here.
Very solid defense by Conrad indeed. Both of them back at a neutral position. In the headlock now. Legend goes down near the legs. Conrad is able to hold it off again. Flings him around. Now they're on the bottom of the ground. Conrad is on bottom. Legend is on top.
What he was trying to do there was he was trying to get his legs away and put pressure on Legend's head, but he just wasn't able to do that in time. So now what he has to do is base up and get out of this position so that he can score a point from the escape.
Conrad trying to escape. Legend is on top, having a steady grip around his neck. Conrad pushing himself up, falls back down to the ground. Legend has a steady grip. Conrad still fighting, flips himself over. Now he's on top.
So reversal counts for 2 points, now tied 2-2 with about 20 seconds left in the period.
Conrad, strong grip on top, brings the Legend back down to the ground, not letting him stand up. There's a strong hold at about the waist.
Tries to chop him down here. He's going to run out of time in the period. And
so that's the end of the first period. Tied 2-2, and this match is one of the more physically aggressive ones that we've seen. Very close in the score.
I think the score is close, but from what we saw in the first period, Conrad was definitely on top in terms of mentally, and the only reason that it's tied right now is because he just wasn't able to defend one of Legend's shots, but he'll be okay.
So Legend chooses to be on top. Conrad will be on the bottom. Conrad has to scramble out of that one. Legend is on top. Conrad trying to lift himself back up. Is almost able to. Brought back down to the mat. Tries flinging himself back over. Is not able to. Crawls away. Legend still has a strong grip along his arms. Legend tries going around the neck. Is not able to. Both of them crawling on the ground. This has been pretty neutral for the most part. Conrad gets one of his arms free. He's trying to fling himself up and off the mat. He's almost able to.
What he's doing right now is he's really trying to crawl forward so that he can create some separation here and dig his elbows into his opponent so that he can loosen his grip a little bit.
Final minute. Conrad still crawling away. And referees blow the whistle, so now we'll go back to neutral.
They're going to call stalling on Legend for not trying to get a pin here and only just trying to drive Conrad into the ground so that he can't escape. So the first time stalling is called as a warning, and then after that it's 1 point, and it keeps increasing in points until eventually you get kicked out for it, and it's a disqualification.
So how many points can you get up to before you get kicked out?
I believe 3, but I'm not positive. Maybe 4.
Back at neutral, Legend is back on top. Conrad looks to have more of a steady grip this time. Legend back on top. Conrad flips himself on top of Legend.
It's the reversal. Needs to sink back into him to get him back onto his back.
So Vista gets 2 points. They lead 4-2. Conrad has him by the neck. Legend flips out of it for only a moment. Conrad has a strong grip on top. Legend player tries lifting his leg up, is not able to.
He's working towards the head. He's got him on his back now. He's got back points. Could get a pin here. There's the pin.
And that's a pin for Conrad.
Really what he did there, he never gave up. He stayed mentally tough throughout all of it. And as you can see, even though he did not score first, he still ended up winning the match by pitting him while the score was 4-2. So well done by Conrad.
So now we are in the 195 weight class. Vista leads 13-0. Legend not even able to get a point. And Tyler Boydston for Mount Vista. Both of them at a standstill both of them are at a standstill, throwing the fake jabs. Legend goes down for the legs. Both of them are on the ground. Tyler has the hold around his neck.
What happened there was Legend took a shot and Tyler got him locked in a headlock. Now he needs to get his leg out and get on top in order to score his 2 points.
Using all his body weight from his leg, trying to flip the Legend player over. Legend trying to get back on top.
This is what we like to call a 50-50 situation where really either of them could win in it all.
Tyler back on top. Legend trying to get out of the chokehold. Tyler holding the Legend player down. Tyler on top.
He is going to get around to the legs. Tyler sprawling again. Not giving up on anything.
And that's the end of the first period. Mount Vista leads 1-0, or 2-0.
Very well fought period there by Tyler. As you could see, he really just didn't give up on any points, didn't let the other man score, no matter how close it seemed. So he's going to come into the second period on top by 2 points, and also on top as well in terms of position, as Legend chooses down.
So Legend will be on the bottom, Vista on top. Both of them flip each other over. Legend is on top. Tyler gets a good stranglehold on it. Now he's on top.
No points called there.
Legend trying to get up off the mat. Tyler has him by the leg and the neck. Brings the leg back over.
Grabbing that near ankle to use it for leverage. Trying to torque him over.
Now he flips himself back on top of the Legend player. Using the ankle, as you said. Good stranglehold around the neck. Tyler flips back over. Has him by the neck. Legend does not look like they will be able to escape. Legend player spinning himself around on the mat, looking for any way to try to get out of this chokehold.
Now what he's doing right here is he's sucking him back down to the mat. Because in order to get a pin, you need both shoulder blades to be parallel to the mat. And there he goes.
For Tyler Winston.
Sucks him back down into the mat. Gets his pin. And that's another 6 points for Vista. Vista now up 19-0.
At 220 pounds.
So now we're on the 220-pound weight class. Vista leads 19-0 against Legend. Legend player falls down to the ground, is able to recover. Both of them have a stranglehold around the neck. It's been a 50-50. Throwing some fake jabs. Now they break away again. Neutral, back in. Going really arms and hands around the head and hair. Pushing around, shoving around. Break away again.
Now, one thing about Ryan is that he definitely doesn't like to be the one to take a shot, and he's always looking for the other person to shoot so he can go behind and score.
Referee. Pushing around, shoving around. Breakaway to neutral. And the Legend player makes the first move, goes down towards his legs, is on top, and he's going to get the easy 2 points. 2-0 Legend leads.
Just one of those quick, unexpected shots that Ryan wasn't looking out for. He was standing up trying to reset to the middle of the mat, and the Legend player shot on him from far away. Was able to get behind.
So Legend player on top, Ryan trying to crawl away to create separation. Legend player has him by the neck. Going for the leg. Has them both around the leg and the neck. Breaks away from the leg. Is just going for both the arms. Ryan crawling away. And that is the end of the first period. Legend leads 2-0. Was very neutral up until the final about 30 seconds of that when the Legend player went straight down for his legs and made the first move.
Legend player wins the flip, gonna defer. And Ryan chooses neutral.
So both of them trying to wrap their hands around each other's heads. Every time they do it, nobody's able to really get a leverage, so they break away. Pushing around, shoving. Hands over each other's heads. Moving around, working towards the outside of the mat. They break away again. Now back at the middle part of the mat.
In the upper weight classes of wrestling, it really is different the way stance works. You don't try to protect your legs as much because it's harder to take shots on bigger guys, and you really focus more on trying to get leverage.
They break away again. Hands over each other's necks and heads. Legend tries to go down, is not able to. Now Legend's on the ground, and Ryan is on top. Ryan falls down. Legend is able to get control. Ryan crawling away, and they lead 4-0.
This is the crossface.
Ryan trying to break away. Legend has him by the neck. They flip him back over. Ryan not able to get on top.
Legend was looking for the cradle here, so now Ryan knows what to look out for in the future. So he's going to grab that leg and try to use it for leverage in order to work himself up.
Is on the bottom. Legend going up. Brings Ryan back down to the ground. Legend player crawling around on top of Ryan.
10 seconds in the period remaining.
Has him down on the ground. Ryan trying to flip back over. And that is the end of the second period. Legend leads 4-0 heading into the third and final period.
Titans 4, Vista 0.
Ryan is on top. Has Legend by his stranglehold right now. Legend moving around trying to get out of it. Ryan picks him up by his leg and arm. Tries flipping him over, is not able to. Ryan's hand along his waist. They break away, set back to neutral.
As you can tell in the third period, the dynamic really shifts towards who's tired and who isn't. Becomes a battle of mental stamina.
Legend leads 5-0.
And Ryan is looking exhausted out here.
Both of them back at the neutral stranglehold. Pushing, shoving. Ryan goes to the outside of the mat, now brings him back in. Both of them break away again. Now back to hands held against their decks. Legend player goes back down to the ground, pushes himself back up. Both players physically exhausted.
Now Ryan needs to make something happen here with only 40 seconds left. He's down by 5. What he really needs is a pin in order to win the match. And the ref is thinking about calling stalling on green here.
Both of them holding each other by their heads. Ryan is in the headlock, is able to push out of it. Final 20 seconds. They go back into the headlocks. And the Legend player goes down to the ground, flips over Ryan. That's another 2 points, 7-0. Legend is back on top. And that will be the end of the third period. Legend wins that one 7-0.
Now the good news is that's only going to add 3 points as opposed to 6 because Ryan was able to avoid the pin. So Vista is still ahead 19-3 in terms of team score.
To the Legend Titans, Cruz Garcia. And for your Golden Eagles at 285 pounds, let's hear it for Caden Piper.
Now Cannon Piper is another wrestler who just started last year and has quickly become one of our better varsity wrestlers. Up in the highest weight class there is 280. These are what we like to call the big dudes.
So Piper and the Legend player wrestle around. Piper throws a jab. Now they're both in headlocks. Reset to neutral. Back in the headlocks. And Piper goes down to the ground. Is wrestling out of it, and they go back to neutral.
He was looking for the shot there, and once he realized he couldn't get the leg, he just reset back to neutral instead of trying to fight for it and potentially giving up a takedown.
Back with their hands around their heads. Push out of it. Back to neutral. A little bit of pushing and shoving going around. And they go down to the ground. Legend player on top. Piper on the bottom. Has strong grip on his leg. Able to push out of it. Both of them are.
What Legend did there was a snap down by dragging his head down to the mat. But Cannon was able to create pressure by grabbing his leg, and then they reset to neutral because of it. 50 seconds left in the period.
Back in a headlock. They were at the outside of the map. Now they push back into the middle. Piper is on top.
Gets behind, gets his 2 points. Now he's going to that near ankle.
Flips back on top of the Legend player. Has him by the arm.
Looking to get some back points here before the period ends.
Legend player's back on top. Piper's back on top. Has him by the neck, and they call a pin.
There's the pin for Cannon Piper. With only 8 seconds left in the period, he manages to get the pin after getting a quick takedown. And that's going to net Vista another 6 points.
At 106 pounds for the Legend Titans.
So they lead 25-3, Vista does.
You know what, Jack? I'm starting to think this is a great way to kick off Wish Week.
Oh, it definitely is. And 6 points just got added to Legend, so it's 25-9 instead.
Yeah, unfortunately, because we don't have a wrestler in the same weight class that guy is, it counts as a forfeit, which also counts as 6 points towards their score, so they're going to get 12 free points here.
Well, that is very lucky for them, so instead of us having, what, a 22-point lead, it's cut down to 10.
So a lot of schools like to focus on recruitment for the wrestling team for that reason, because buys count as 6 points. So if you don't have a wrestler in that weight class, it's an automatic 6 points for the other team. Still up by 10, however.
At 120 pounds,
So now we are on the 120-pound weight class. This leads 25-15. Crossan is representing Vista. They are at a neutral standstill. They get pushed to the ground, flipped over. Legend has the chokehold right now. They push back away to neutral.
Now, don't be fooled. Blake Unruh may be little, but he is strong. I've wrestled him in practice before, and you can really tell how much grade he's been lifting on farms and stuff like that.
Blake gets a stranglehold on top again. Legend player fighting, trying to push away. Now Blake falls to the ground, still on top. Now Blake gets him by his legs. He flicks him up into the ground, into the sky. Now he's back on top. Legend player crawling away. Vista leads 2-0.
He was able to get that takedown because he got his hips in, and he came with a quick and violent motion to pop them out.
Blake still wrestling him to the ground. Legend player crawling away. Legend player gets up, and they're going to push him out of the mat.
Blake still going to be on top here.
So Blake on top, grabs him by his leg. Legend player back on the ground, crawling away, trying to create the separation. Blake has him by his arm, now the other arm, and now by the neck.
Grab that ankle there in order to break him down to the mat. Now he's going for the cradle here. He's going to get him.
Has him by the leg, flinging him over.
He's not going to look for a pin here. He's just going to get his 3 and reset. Back to on top. Going to look for more back points here.
So Blake loses that grip. Now he's got it back. Vista leads 5-0. Blake on top, by the neck, brings him down to the ground, looking for the pin. Referee's right there, looking down at Blake and the Legend player. 15 seconds to go. He's going to need to get this one fairly quick. Legend player scrambling away, trying to get out of it. Blake on top, has him by the neck, has him by the leg.
Legend just barely avoiding the pin.
And they pull the pin at the very end. Blake Ugly with the pin. So Mountain Vista gets another pin, another 6 points, and they lead 31-15.
He was on top. He got the
And
half
for your
Nelson, he got
Golden
the
Eagles
arm
at
shots.
126
Switch
pounds,
sides,
mixing
drug
noise
over.
for Brennan
Just very well
Long.
executed. Really physically dominated that match, and a great showing here by Blake Unruh. Now it's going to be Brennan Long.
They shake hands. The Legend immediately tries to go for the legs on Brennan Long. Both of them fall to the ground. Now get back up.
Now in weight classes like this, speed is very important. As you can see, they're the littler guys. So they're really looking for a quick shot here to catch their opponent off.
Long goes to the ground, is in a chokehold. Now he's been caught by his leg. Both players have each other's legs.
In a scramble here.
Long is being held right now. Clock is not started.
Yeah, that's why the refs were conversing, because the clock hasn't been started. So we're still technically sitting at 2 minutes here. They aren't stopping the match, however. And 2 points called for Legend at first, and then Brennan Long flips it around and gets 2 of his own with the reversal. And some back points as well. Could potentially get the pin here.
So Long is on top, has the Legend player in a stranglehold. Clock is not started, no points have been added. Refs are just keeping it on their phones currently. Legend player gets a hold back on top. So now Legend trying to go for the pin.
Brennan Long got the 3 points for the reversal, and then, 3 points for a near fall, and then Legend got a reversal and 3 near fall points. And it looks like the scoreboard is back up and running, but the clock has not been set.
So we'll call it like this. 5-5, Vista and Legend are tied. The 2 minutes did not run for the first period. So we're going to the second period, tied at 5-all. Adam Bittler and the coach for Legend heading over to the bench, trying to get things figured out with the referee. The only thing they have to worry about is the time currently. As long as you can get the scoreboard working, then you're fine. So correction on that, 29.4 seconds left in period 1.
So it appears that the time was kept, it just wasn't showing up on the bigger scoreboard that's displayed in the gym. So it appears that the coaches from both sides have worked it out. It's now tied at 5-5, 29.4 left in the first period.
It does feel like, though, we should already be in the second period instead of still in the first, though, with 30 seconds to go.
Well, they did keep track of the time, it would appear. They just weren't displaying it on the scoreboard because they had some issues with that.
So now Mr. Bittler's over there trying to help out the scorekeeper, talk with the referee. So now they add 2 more points to Legend. So
Yeah,
Legend leads 7-5.
2 back points. I was wondering about the points because they weren't keeping track of those on the scoreboard. So they've come to an agreement. It's now 7-5 with Legend in the lead. Brennan Long on bottom. and 30 seconds left.
So Long will be on the bottom, Legend will be on top. 7-5, 30 seconds to go.
Glad we got that sorted out. That's a bit of a headache.
So Legend flips Long over. They're on top currently. Long moving around, gets thrown back down to the ground. Long trying to lift himself up. Legend picks him up. Long runs away, gets thrown back down to the ground. 10 seconds to go. Now Long is back on top.
And he's going to tie it up, 7-7, 5 seconds left.
Has him in a stranglehold.
No more time left to get any back points.
So 7-7 into the first period. Had some trouble with the clock and scoreboard, but it's now all worked out.
After a very confusing first period, it's now tied at 7-7 going into the second. That's a very high-scoring period as well. You don't normally see 7 points by each wrestler after only one period.
Going off of what you just said, is it more unusual to see it in a lower category weight class or a higher category weight class?
I would say a higher category weight class because higher categories tend to be a bit more timid and neutral and not go for more aggressive shots because they're harder to land due to higher weight. Whereas with smaller kids, it's easier to flip around, get reversals, go for aggressive shots, stuff like that. So I definitely say it's more common to high-scoring matches in lower weight brackets, but it's still unusual to see 7-7.
So at 7-7 now, would you say this is an average score in the second period of a weight class for 126?
No, I'd say it's pretty high.
Long back on top. Has the Legend player in his strangle right now. Flings him back over. Legend player scrambling around, trying to break free. Crawls away. Long still on top. Legend player scoots away. Has him by the leg. Brings him back over. Legend player is on the ground. Long's shoulders on top of his head. Legend tries to break free. Long has him. Trying to go for the pin. And they call the pin for Long. That's another win for Mountain Vista.
It's square on his back. The Legend opponent simply isn't able to bridge out of it as he has both shoulder blades directly onto the mat. Nowhere for him to really go. And that's an excellent win by Brennan Long. Not phased at all by what happened in the first period, just coming right out
And for your Golden Eagles at 132 pounds, let's give it up for Connor Price.
So now Connor Price will be coming in for the weight class of 132. Vista leads 37-15.
Connor Price, a very fast and aggressive wrestler. And immediately he's going in.
Price on top, flings the Legend player around.
And they are out.
Pushes him out of the mat, so now they're going to go back to neutral.
Would have gotten the takedown here, had to reset due to boundaries, which is unfortunate, but he's just going to go right back in and get two again. Excellent takedown there, speed and aggression, and he's going to let him up and go back to neutral.
Connor Price, very aggressive, very fast. Gets him by the legs. Price now on top. Has him by the shoulders. Flings him around. Now has him by the leg. Legend player's pinned to the ground currently.
He's going around, has that arm trapped.
Price throws him down to the ground again. Has him by the neck. And the referee calls a pin. That's back-to-back pins for Mountain Vista. And another 6 points. They lead 43-15.
Really, that was just a dominant match by Connor there. Scoring every single takedown he could at neutral, and eventually, when he decided to stay on top, he immediately got a pin for it. Next up, we got Joe
And
Chaplin.
for your Golden Eagles at 130 pounds, here he comes, Joe Chaplin.
So Joe Chaplin will be out on the mat for Mountain Vista. Weight class of 138. Chaplin pushing around. Already gets the hold.
Brings it down to the mat.
2 points to 0. Chaplin has him along the neck. Legend player trying to push off. Joe
Chaplin
back
is
on top.
angry here.
You can see the aggression in his eyes, throwing the Legend player out of the mat.
Now, I think this really has become personal for Joe because when they met up at the match at the beginning of the duel, his opponent definitely looked very cocky and was kind of taunting him a little bit. You can see it there. He stands up first and looks him in the eyes.
And there was a lot of disrespect there by the Legend player, standing up over Joe, trying to flex what little muscle he has. And Joe brings him down to the ground. Joe back on top, Legend player scooting towards the edge of the match. Joe has him in a hold right now. Flings him back, up, over, throws him back down to the ground. Joe has him by the neck.
He's working towards his head, looking for a pin here. He's a bit high on top.
Legend player scrambling around. Joe has a good steady hold. Has both his arms. Legend player escapes with one arm. Joe flings him around, back down to the ground, has him by the neck and one of his arms.
Out.
Legend player tries getting up and over and pushes Joe off the mat. Tied at 2 in the first period.
Legend player still taunting and looking very cocky here.
Joe on the bottom pushes himself up. Legend player picks him up, flings him down to the ground. Joe gets back up.
He needed just to break out here.
So he gets 1 point for breaking away. Joe brings him back.
This is quite possibly the angriest I've ever seen Joe Chaplin. He already has an ego. You don't need to challenge him even more.
Joe Chaplin on the bottom. Legend player brings him up. They're standing up right now. Legend has him, flicks him up and over, and Joe lands on top of him, and the referees blow their whistles.
They're going to call the Legend player for locked hands, and that's going to be a point for Joe Chaplin here.
So Joe leads 6-2.
Just giving away a free point to Joe Chaplin there because he wanted to get the mat return.
Legend player's confidence isn't making up for something, I'll tell you that. Legend player has him by the foot, throws him out of the mat.
Out of bounds, and that's going to be a point for Joe Chaplin here. On bottom still.
Legend player has him by the ankle. Joe still on top. Joe moving towards the edge of the mat. Legend player trying to break free. Joe's ankles have his head. And Joe gets flung out of the mat. Well, that will be 1 point for
call for
Vista.
stalling. Ref is talking to the Legend wrestler. Another point for Joe here.
So the Legend player is cocky, and you know what? He's giving up free points.
Well, it's hard to feel like his ego hasn't maybe diminished a little bit.
It probably has. I mean, you cannot beat Joe Chaplin. You can't think this is an easy matchup. You got to expect something out of Joe. And you know what? Joe came out angry and fighting, took him by surprise. I'll tell you that.
Joe Chaplin's already a great wrestler, but when you get him angry, he's a completely different, even better wrestler.
He's like the Hulk.
Exactly.
It's
exactly like the Hulk.
It's a 9-2. Vista leads, 1:14 to go in the second period. Be on the bottom. Legend player goes for the hold around his waist. Now the coach yells at him.
Legend coach is telling him to cut him. Give him another free point.
And that's another free point for Joe, so 10-2.
They chose to go into neutral instead of
and Joe brings him down to the ground.
Joe with another easy takedown here.
Has a stranglehold on him. Joe up on top. Legend player on the ground. Looks defenseless. Joe flinging him around. He's on top. He's got a stranglehold on him. Joe looking like a lion, and the Legend player looking like a stranded, helpless gazelle. Joe back on top.
You could say gazelle. You could also say deer in the headlights.
I think deer in the headlights is better. I'll give you that one. 1 point Thomas, 0 points me.
12 points Joe, 2 points Cocky, legend wrestler.
There you go. This has been a very long second period. Legend player will be on the bottom. Joe on top.
Breaks him down almost immediately.
He comes out fighting. Throws the legend player down to the ground.
Gets that stubby in.
And he's going to pick him up, throw him over.
Breaks him down to the mat.
Legend player back on the ground. Tries to jump up and over. Joe brings him back down. He has nowhere to go. Legend player tries getting free, is not able to. Joe up on top.
And that's going to do it for the end of the second period here.
Into the second period, Vista leads 12-2. Currently, we head to the third period. Joe showing his aggression. Legend player taken by surprise, does not know how to combat this.
Now that we're at the end of the second period, I have to say I have noticed far less taunting. I wonder why.
He was cocky, and ultimately that was his downfall.
He is going to get the 2 points here now, 12-4. And Joe goes out of bounds.
So the legend player goes to push Joe out again. He'll get the 2 points. Referees give Joe one, 13-4. Joe comes out pushing, fighting again. Grabs him by his head and throws him out of the mat.
And whenever the legend student comes near us, the Vista student section definitely does want to have a word with him.
It may be a fairly small student section, but they are cheering like a packed house here. Joe back on top, gets another 2 points, 15-4. He's got the legend player by the neck. Moving around.
Working his moves here.
Legend player is now on top.
Not allowing himself to get pinned, however.
Joe gets free of it for a moment. Another 2 points, 15-6. Joe goes up, is on one knee.
And they're going to call him for locked hands again. How many free points is this man going to give away?
What are we at now, 5?
I think about a third of the points that Joe has scored have just been from. And that's a forfeit for Joe.
So Joe
The legend wrestler locks hands, gets too many calls against him for penalties, and they're going to hand the match to Joe.
So Vista leads 49-15. So in the weight class of 145, Colin Mooney will be out there from Alta Vista. 49-15, Vista leads. Colin Mooney up on top.
Immediate start to the match, and he gets behind.
Moving around. Mooney is on top.
He's going to suck him back down. And he is going to get back points here.
Legend player trying to get up, and he gets dropped back down to the ground.
Now what he's doing here is he's bridging off of his back and really trying to escape, but he's not going to be able to as Colin gets the pin here in the first period with 50 seconds left.
It's a very quick pin for Colin, and Vista leads 55-15.
Now coming up is the last match of the evening. Aiden Cartwright, team captain, team leader. The record of what did we say? Let me pull it up here. But here it is. His record is 38-2 on the season.
So Aiden Cartwright on the mat. Pushing, shoving. This is the weight match of 152.
Now this was actually my weight class before I was injured, and you're about to see why I didn't make varsity, because he made varsity instead of me.
You know what? This is going to be a little touchy subject, but who do you think would have been better on Varsity, you or him?
I mean, probably him. I don't want to talk about it.
A very sensitive subject for my color commentator, Thomas. Cartwright at a neutral standpoint. 1:20 to go in the first period.
Nothing significant has happened yet. Aiden goes in on a fake shot, gets back up. Really agile here. And just looking at Aiden, he looks like a wrestler. He really has that type of build. He's stocky yet fast and strong. He can really take advantage of his opponents.
Very true. Aiden has the legend player by his head. Now they're fighting around. Still at a neutral standpoint. Pushing and shoving. They both fall to the ground. Aiden gets on top. They both got each other by their arms.
To his credit, the legend wrestler is definitely doing a very good job of defending here. Not giving any points to Aiden as they're going to go out of bounds and reset in the middle.
So they'll reset a good 1 minute, 30 seconds of fighting. Now they're back. Fighting
20
around.
seconds. The legend wrestler could get called for stalling here by hanging out on the edge of the mat and going away as soon as Aiden takes a shot.
Well, the stalling was very clear when Joe was on the mat.
That's true.
This one I don't
2 seconds left. And he's able to get the 2 before the end of the period.
So Aiden leads 2-0 heading into the second period.
And that's why you never give up with short time. He must have had about a 1/10 of a second left when he got that takedown, and he still managed to get it, and now he's up by 2. The legend coach didn't exactly look happy with that call.
Well, I mean, since there's no instant replay in high school sports, you can't really throw down a coach's challenge.
There's no red flags.
In the first period, Vista 2, Titans 0.
And the Titans pick neutral here.
So the Titans at neutral. They immediately go down. Aiden has him by the neck.
Gets that headlock here. Looking to get to the leg. Not giving up on his position. And he takes a shot. Gets his
Aiden
hips
has him by
inside.
the leg.
He's got the single leg here. Gonna
Flings
trip
him down to the ground.
mat.
Gets him by the waist.
So what he did there, he grabbed that leg, he elevated it, and once he had him balanced on his other leg, he took that leg out from under him and brought him down to the mat.
Aiden is on top. Brings the legend player down on the ground. Legend player trying to get away like a dead fish who's been pulled out of water. Coaches calling for the pin. Aiden has him by the leg. Crawling away. Looks like he's got a strong hand on him.
And he's got
Vista
plenty of
fans
time
want
to
a
look for
pin.
this pin here. And he's just gonna let him reset and get more back points here.
They're going to give Aiden 3 points. He leads 7-0. 1 minute to go in the second period. Aiden has him. Gets a different angle on him.
And the crowd here is energized in the Mountain Vista gym.
Referee pointing at Aiden for a second. Aiden has the legend player by the neck. Jumps up and over him.
Switches sides.
Pushing out of the ring.
He's not allowing him to bridge. He's sucking his
And
head up
there's
so
the
that he can't
pin!
bridge.
Mountain Vista gets it to end the night.
Cartwright. And they end the night 61-15, and 12 of those 15 points for Legends were from buys. So really, it's 61-3 for Vista. An absolutely dominant match.
Let us show our appreciation for the efforts, gamesmanship, and great efforts
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Jack Minahan, Thomas Frey. Well, we did the Vista Wrestling team did what they needed to do. They started off Wish Week with a win, winning 61-15, but there were a couple forfeits that happened, so really it's 61-3. Thomas, anything you'd like to say about this?
I'd just like to say that was a very dominant duel by Vista, a great way to start off Wish Week, and I'm very proud of everyone who wrestled out there and gave it their everything.
Yes, very good matchups. A lot of pins happened. I'd say the best one of the night was when Joe Chaplin went out there.
Absolutely. I'm not a big fan of the guy he wrestled. I'm glad he won. I'm going to go congratulate him after this.
No, Kip was very cocky. But that's besides the point. So Vista starts off strong, winning wrestling 1-0. So now we are going to give you a preview of what's to come next week. Monday, we got Vista Idol. Tuesday, basketball against Heritage. Wednesday is a scrimmage for hockey. Thursday night is Rough and Tough. And then Friday night, the big game against Thunder Ridge. We will be bringing all of those events live to you in the next week. My name's Jack Minahan. Alongside me, Thomas Frey. We thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Have a great night.
Good night.